Hey, you ever heard of Courage the Cowardly Dog? Because I got some like Courage like pajamas on, and they're pretty comfy. I got them from Walmart like a few months ago. But you know what's courageous? What's like really courageous is playing a chess game like this. Okay, so we have a game against two like lower rated players here. White opens with e4. Fantastic opening. I think this is the best opening, if not the second best, between e4 and d4. Just getting pawns in the center, making space for your pieces to develop. You want to unleash this bishop at some point. Smooth sailing for both sides. This is where white starts to get a little bit crazy. A lot of newer players like doing things like this to try and go for scholar's mate type of ideas. And I love it. I respect it. It's very much not good, and it's also very easy to prevent. But let's see if black does that. So black is defending this pawn. Perfectly fine. You want to defend this pawn just to make sure that you're not losing it at any point, because you will lose this pawn with check, which is very dangerous. White is, of course, setting up the idea that I was talking about earlier. And I wonder how many games have ended on this next move. This one doesn't. So black is defending this square with the queen, which is really not the end of the world. I prefer to get a bit more aggressive and just to kick this queen out. Push this pawn forward. It's kind of a developing move because you're making space for the bishop. I want to double check and make sure that I'm giving good advice here. I would have preferred to have seen that by black instead of just moving this queen here. The problem with moving the queen here is that at some point you are going to have to move it again, more than likely. It's not on like the best, most active square. You're going to have to spend time to put it on a square that's more useful. But computer also doesn't hate it. It says that it's equal here. White developing a piece, also potentially trying to get another piece into the attack. I think that's the part of the idea behind this. I feel like white has just seen this opening a few times and wants to try to get this to work. The problem is this really doesn't work. In those situations is it very strong, and it's better to not play for gimmicks and play for more tactically sound ideas. But okay, I really like this move by black. You can see black is already starting to put the pressure onto white, attacking the queen, attacking this extremely important central pawn on e4. You do not want to lose this pawn. Of course, you don't want to lose the queen either, but I cannot understate just how valuable this pawn is. I would be thinking about moves like bringing the queen back to defend this pawn, and at the same time, you are kind of playing defense now as white. It's good to be eyeing up this queen. If at any point this knight moves, you can take the queen with check. You can find another way to defend this pawn. It'll be smooth sailing from there. But white moves all the way back, and they do lose this very important pawn. Apparently, there is a stronger move here. Let me see this. Oh, wow. Wait, not here. There's a stronger move here. Oh, so this grabs even more space in the center. Like this is actually quite strong. I missed this move. So basically, you are attacking both the bishop and the pawn at the same time. The bishop, of course, is more valuable. If you take back, you're going to lose the queen. I missed this whole idea here, but okay, that would have been quite a bit stronger. But even this is almost completely lost for white. The computer says there are still some chances for white to hold on, but to me, I wouldn't want to even have any part of this anymore, to be honest. This is already quite bad. From here, I would even be looking at possible queen trades here. Move the queen up. You kind of want him to take so you can take back, and if he doesn't take back, This knight's under attack. But okay. Goes ahead and castles, which is very brave. Not the end of the world. The computer doesn't totally like this, but I'm already cringing a bit looking at this right now. Queen is coming in to attack an undefended piece by white. You're also putting some pressure over here long term. This kind of goes back to what I said earlier about moving the queen here. At some point, you have to spend a turn moving it again. It probably would have been better to maybe develop another piece, develop a piece this way, try and get castle, get the king to safety. In a lot of ways, this is losing a move because you can defend this bishop while also preparing to develop another piece at the same time. I like this by white too. You're defending the bishop and winning a tempo on this knight at the same time, which is pretty darn useful. Black moves back here, and basically what the computer is saying is that you can win yet another tempo on this queen, making the queen move again. And from this point, white's actually doing quite well, surprisingly. White's doing well because you're very quickly going to get more pieces in the game. And really, black is so far behind in development. Black has to spend so much more time getting these bishops into the game. Black still has the castle. And really, pretty soon, white's going to be able to launch an attack of their own. Black has to move the queen out of the way. And, oops, that actually wasn't played in the game. Okay, so white doesn't play the best move here. White goes here. Not a big fan of this move. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind it. In a lot of ways, it is just a pure waste of a tempo. Okay, so white's moving here so that if takes and you take back, this pawn is defended. I like the reasoning behind it. This move, honestly, I actually don't hate it. Computer does not like it at all by black. I think it's practical though. You want to try and get white to make some type of decision on where this bishop's going to go. I mean, it's going to go back, but you're going to gain some space over here on the queen side, which I think is good. I'm sure it opens up other opportunities for white to attack, but there's some crazy tactics that I'm missing here. Oh, this idea is still available. Yeah, you always have this idea of winning a tempo on the queen, and it makes the queen have to basically make an awkward decision on where it wants to go. And you can gain even more time just by playing like this. But okay, see, even in lower rated games, they're so chaotic, and it's easy to miss some different tactical ideas. But, all right. Let's keep seeing what's going on here. Bishop just moves back. In some ways, this justifies black's whole decision of moving the pawn forward. This move I'm not a fan of. I would have preferred to have seen the bishop become fianchettoed. Maybe you could even go for some cheesiness. You want to move this knight somewhere, push the pawn forward, and maybe get some type of discovery attack against the queen. Just a Hail Mary type of idea. It's not a good idea, but it is something that could potentially work at this rating level. This pawn break is horrible. You want to try and keep your pawns together. By pushing like this becomes a backwards pawn, which is going to be an easy target long term for black. But okay. Black ends up taking here. Whoa. Okay, so the position does get kind of technical from here in the goofiest kind of way. I'm having problems just calculating all of this myself. There's a bunch of different lines that are viable here. You don't even have to take this pawn if you don't want to. You could win tempo on this queen in a couple different ways. And really, I think this is what black should go for from a practical perspective. you can win tempo of your own against the queen, but there's strong attacking ideas from the black side, and black could actually make the position even more complicated if they want to. And really, I think that they should, but none of that is even played in the game, and they just both kind of take back. I am like in awe by this. This is crazy to me. Okay, the position does get a bit more simplified. The computer hates this move by white. It's suggesting to bring the rook into the game of all pieces. I'm not totally sure why. Maybe to help control this square a bit more. Not sure, to be quite honest with you. This is a bit chaotic for me. But okay, queen moving here. That's really a useless move because black has so many different ways of defending the pawn, and really, black can just move here and kick the queen away again, which gains even more time for black. You know what? I think I see there's another idea here too. By moving this knight back, if you can see this, you're attacking both this queen and the rook at the same time. That's probably the cleanest way to do things. But okay, black, out of all the moves they could possibly do, moves here, which does just blunder the rook in the corner, and it blunders it with check. But really, from here, black is doing incredibly well. Computer's even suggesting this idea, which I don't understand this at the slightest bit. Because this is just hanging, and then what? And you move back. This is incredibly chaotic in the most wonderful of ways, but none of that ends up happening. Black moves this knight, which was pinned. You take with check. King has to move forward. It's suggesting taking again. Of course, that's really good because you are up material here. And the more that you trade, the easier the position is going to be to play. Black goes for this check, which still isn't horrible, but you can just block it. If you want to, you can even just start sacking pieces here. I mean, there's no reason why you can't just take that knight. This is a bit of a sloppier way of doing this, simply because you are going to be losing another piece here. And actually, if anything, the computer is saying that it's equalized here. So from here, black went from big time losing the game to it being essentially equal. Black has chances to win again and to survive all of this. I don't think that's reasonably going to happen, especially since black took this pawn and essentially gives white a free pass and gives themselves a way out. This is not the way to play. It would have been better just to attack the queen again because this rook is defended. This game has me shook to my core. Okay, none of this is even happening, and white had the opportunity to take this rook, didn't go for it. It's so hard for me to follow the train of thought here. Okay, I guess black is trying to set up some ideas of checkmate, but you are so well defended, and you will be for such a long time. Taking here, great for white. From this point forward, I even saw that a suggested move was black sacking the queen at one point. You have to remember that your knight is hanging, so it is good to get that out of the way. That doesn't end up happening, and you end up losing another piece. From here, it does suggest that there's forced mate. I do not see what that forced mate is. It would probably start with some type of check. This game is incredibly chaotic. You know, it's so crazy. White's position is winning by so much that even just taking this pawn is considered a bad move because there are more efficient uses of your time. Like, you want to start hunting the king down and start winning some tempo. But I really don't hate it either. I mean, essentially everything that you're doing from here on out is winning, but you do still have to find the best ways forward. This check here, not completely necessary. I would like to see the rooks be brought into the game. Computer suggesting this move, like winning a tempo on the queen. This bishop is defended. I really like that. This check over here, I'm sure is fine as well. Ooh, I like this bishop move. I didn't see this. Computer isn't the biggest fan of it because you are closing yourself off from this opportunity of attacking the queen, winning a tempo on it. But this is a way of bringing another piece into the game. Would have been better to look for another check. This is hanging, by the way. It's just an undefended piece, which black does take. This is so goofy, dude. Going for the check. So I think white is having issues essentially finishing off black. And you know what? Looking back at my time when I was around this rating level, I would find myself in a lot of similar positions, and it really is a skill of its own to try and win games that you're so far ahead in. So this is a timed game, and it looks like, let me see here. White still has 6 minutes left, which is plenty of time to win this. Black is the one who has to play faster. But when you're winning by this much, it's easy to start feeling the pressure and be like, oh yeah, I'm completely crushing here. You start to feel overconfident, or at least you sense that you're winning, but you still can't quite figure out how to finish him off, which is frustrating and can lead you to make even more mistakes. But okay. This check here, not the most efficient, just because black can block and win another tempo in the queen, but really this is still crushing. Honestly, if anything, I'm starting to kind of like black's chances now. I would love to see the rooks get in the game for like the millionth time. Get a rook in the game, get your knight out of the way, put pressure on this pawn. There's a lot of different ideas. White is going pawn hunting here, which is a good idea if you just aren't totally sure what to do. Computer likes this move, and I do too, putting pressure on this knight, trying to get it out of here, trying to lock down white's position. This isn't bad either. Honestly, given the rating level, I kind of like black's chances. There's a fork here between these two pieces, but this move is again a waste of time, but the whole idea is to defend this knight from the rook. It would have been better just to move the knight in the first place, but I like this, and it ends up paying off because black just takes the knight and loses the entire rook. You can see moves for a second. The computer was suggesting just taking this rook with the queen, but okay, it's suggesting winning a tempo on the queen. This is extremely chaotic. From here on out, it's very, very resignable. I love this move. You're lining up attacks this way, kind of like a laser beam. Really, even just take this, trade queens. You still are up 2 rooks. Like, you're going to be doing just fine in this endgame. This move is insane because the rook is already hanging, and he just moves it into another square where it's hanging. But neither of them, the rook just never gets taken for some reason. Okay, white's going for their own attack, moving back on a square where the rook can be under attack. What is even going on here? I don't understand any of this. Okay, finally we get a trade here, which I'm very happy to see that. Please just take this rook. It would make your life easier. This is not the way to do it. Ooh, there's chances to get in here and go for a queen trade. Doesn't end up happening. This check I think would be strong. You can win tempo on this bishop here. Really, there's a lot of good moves you could play. Okay, you could also just win the bishop completely. And no, go here. Just check the king, and like you want to force a queen trade, and things get just so much more simple. That doesn't end up happening. And actually, I kind of like that. I kind of like that move. And it pays off in the end. Oh, oh. This game has had me on the ropes. I was doing my best to try and analyze this, and it got pretty technical in a lot of different areas. But neither side really played to played the best moves, or like they didn't play the most accurately. And a lot of lines that I was looking at just I am just at a loss for words right now. This has really taken me for a ride. Okay, just from here on out, there's definitely different mating ideas. Like you can checkmate. Just don't want to allow them to make a queen. I like this. It's practical. I don't know how this game ends, to be honest. There could still be a stalemate here. No, I think okay, black does run out. At this rating level, you should still keep playing on, make your opponent checkmate you, because there's a decent chance that they're gonna stalemate and the game would still end in a draw. Oh man. I don't even know what to think anymore. I'm gonna go now. Okay, goodbye.